What is up, and welcome back, beautiful souls, to Just a Vision. I am Jaquel Viola, your host and your guide, as you are ascending into these higher states of consciousness along your spiritual journey. So if anybody is new here, welcome. Much peace, love, gratitude, and healing. Please subscribe as well as to hit that bell button to be notified every time I post so that you do not miss out. Alright, kings and queens, gods and goddesses, if you guys are ready to be motivated and inspired to transform your life for the better in all areas, mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, sexually, and even financially, through unconditional love, ancient wisdom and knowledge, spirituality, conscious space information, shared experiences, psychedelics, cannabis, and other natural and holistic ways of healing, then I highly suggest, ladies and gentlemen, that you stay tuned for the rest of this discussion. Welcome back again, beautiful souls, and thank you guys so much for listening to this discussion today. So in today's discussion, we are just going to be doing another episode of the segment on my YouTube channel called Soul Light Knowledge, and we are on lesson 5. We are talking about the triad of the soul. We already talked about the mind, we already talked about the body, and today we're going to be talking about the emotions. But before we jump into all of this, I would just like to say, guys, that I am very happy, very grateful, and very excited to be able to share the wisdom and the knowledge that I have gained, as well as the messages, the insights that I've been getting from Source, as well as the downloads and the upgrades that I have been going through along my own personal spiritual healing journey, in hopes of teaching you, guiding you, or aiding you along your own spiritual healing journey as you are also ascending into these higher states of consciousness and these higher vibrations. So guys, lately I have been getting a lot of messages and insights from Source that I truly need to go a little bit deeper within myself to understand what my emotions are, what they're trying to tell me, and how I'm supposed to deal with them and how I'm supposed to cope with them on my own journey. And most of you guys know, if not all of you guys know, that I am a nerd. So I had to dig a little bit deeper and get a little bit of extra knowledge and wisdom and a truly deeper understanding of what emotions are, how they affect us in our head and in our body, but also, guys, how they affect us on a daily basis in every area of our life, mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, sexually, even financially. And what I have found out, guys, is that most people are unaware of the effects that our emotions have on us on a daily basis, which is why most of us are struggling in all of these different areas of life, because we do not have that emotional intelligence, we do not have that emotional balance. Fuck it, we don't have that balance within our mind, our body, and our emotions. And that's what we need in order to connect back to our most true and authentic self, so that we can start to live the life of our wildest dreams, where we're happy, we're content, we're successful, we're going after our goals and our dreams, and we're just living the life that we want to live because of the fact that we stop listening to what other people have been telling us, and we let go of all of the fears, the worries, the negativities, and just everything that's holding us back and keeping us stuck and stagnant. So like I said, I found out that most people are unaware of the effects that their emotions have on them on a daily basis, which is why most of us are struggling. But then again, guys, we can't even beat ourselves up about this because of the fact that we were not taught how to deal with emotions. We were not taught how to deal with our emotional health. In fact, we were actually taught to repress our emotions and to repress our feelings as if they don't exist, as if they are non-existent, they don't matter, or whatever the case is. We have been taught that, if you express any type of emotion or feeling, that it's a sign of weakness. But it's truly not, guys. It's truly not a sign of weakness. It's just that since the 17th century, the elite group has decided, we're going to make everybody over here in the Western civilization feel like their mind and their bodies are separate entities, and that their bodies can be worked like machines and being overworked until the point where they just basically give up and get exhausted and they just die out. That's how I view, or that's how I feel like the elite group views us as individuals. They don't want us to have that balance within ourselves to be able to go after our goals and our dreams. But we have to realize, guys, that it is an amazing time to be alive on the planet right now, because so many people are waking up and they're realizing that they do not want to be trapped in society anymore. They don't want to be trapped in all of these limitations and everything that's keeping them in a box and keeping them from moving forward in their lives. So like I said, guys, most of us are unaware of our emotions and how they affect us on a daily basis, but that is not your fault. It is not your fault that for so long you've been repressing your emotions and your feelings because of the fact that we've been told that if we show them, it's a sign of weakness. It's not, though. And once you find that emotional balance within yourself and have that emotional intelligence, you will be able to start to navigate your life more easily and being able to go with the flow and allowing things to happen as it's supposed to. So in order for us to start to live the life of our wildest dreams, we must find that mind, body, and emotions connection. And I always tell you guys, I believe that there are a lot of people out in the world that truly do want to change their lives for the better, but they just don't even know where to start out at. So how can you change your life for the better if you don't know what it is about yourself that you need to change? Because in order to change your life for the better, you have to change yourself. But if you don't even know what it is about yourself that you need to change, then how can you change your life for the better, right? Well, that's where I come into play. I am your guys' guide and your aid to help you understand yourself at a deeper level so that you can start to live your life the way that you want to and go after your dreams and your goals. And again, live the life of your wildest dreams where you're happy, you're content, you're successful, and you're not worried about anybody else but yourself. So with all of that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we are now going to be moving into the discussion. But before we get into the emotions, we're going to do a little bit of a recap of what we learned in the previous discussions and lessons. So instead of the mind, body, and soul connection that most of us know it as, I personally refer to it as the mind, body, and emotions connection, which connects you back to your soul. And I believe it to be this connection instead of this one because sometime last year, between October and November, December, whatever time it was last year, I was going for a walk. I just happened to be listening to a podcast, and I don't remember the name of the podcast or the person giving the podcast, but basically they were explaining the mind, body, and soul connection, but they referred to it as the mind, body, and emotions connection, and they gave a very descriptive explanation as to why they refer to it as this connection instead, and it really gave me a different view to look at and a different perspective, and it opened up my eyes to new ways of thinking and new ways of, processing stuff, and it actually made a lot of sense to me. So I'm like, you know what, I like that idea, so I'm gonna take it and use it as my own. Well, not really take it, but I'm gonna refer to it as the mind, body, and emotions connection on my own because that's what I personally feel like it is. So as you guys can see, the soul encompasses all three of these aspects. So you have your soul right here, your mind, your body, and your emotions all wrapped up inside your soul. So guys, that would mean that we are not a body with a soul, but rather a soul with a body. And if I have not mentioned this to you guys before, our soul is a pre-manifested energy, meaning it has already been created. It was already there. It's just that at the time of conception, when our parents are doing, the little dirty, we, as a soul, sign a soul contract to come here to earth to live in the physical realm. We choose our name, we choose our birthday, we choose our family, our siblings, we choose our hardships, we choose our obstacles, the setbacks, the trials and the tribulations, as well as our accomplishments, our rewards, and everything in life that we're going to do. We have already signed a contract. We already know what we're going to do. It's just that when we come to the earthly realm, we forget who we are so that we can wake up and remember who we are. And knowing that every obstacle and every situation that we are going through in life has happened for a reason because we signed a contract to wake up and to remember who we are, to overcome these things that are holding us back and keeping us stuck and stagnant and keeping us from moving forward in our life. We signed a contract. It's just that not all of us wake up at the same time as everybody else, or it might take a little bit longer for us to wake up. Everybody's journey and everybody's path and process in this whole thing that we call life is different. It's just that everybody came here with a mission, with a purpose. It's just that some people wake up and remember what their mission is, and some people just don't wake up because they're too caught up in the physical realm rather than trying to overcome everything that's going on in their life. They're stuck in it and they feel like they can't move forward. But I want you guys to know that you can move forward. You just have to find the courage, the strength, and the willpower within yourself to finally just make those decisions that need to be made for you in your life. Because like I said, everything in your life is already destined to be. all of your goals, your accomplishments, and the life that you want to live, it's already there. It's just that when we come to this realm, you forget who you are, and you start to allow all of these external things and all of these physical things to stop you from moving forward to reach your highest potential, to remember who you are as a highly powerful, multidimensional spiritual being experiencing a human existence. Like I just said, we are multidimensional spiritual beings experiencing a human existence, which is why we have to go through the trials and the tribulations and the setbacks, because we chose it so that we could wake up and remember who we are. We chose it so that we can overcome it. But then again, there are just people out there who allow the external things and the things in the physical world to stop them from remembering who they truly are and stop them from becoming their most authentic self. So like I said, we have already talked about the mind and the body, right? Well, the mind is very complex. There's a lot going on in our minds and in our brains that it would be a lot to talk about in this video. So I will talk about more of that in upcoming videos. But for right now, we're just going to talk about how we already learned that our mind governs our mental and emotional aspects. And we already talked about how the body, guys, allows us to experience the world physically through our 5 senses. So this vessel, this vehicle, this avatar, this body, this temple that you have, this is your soul's way of expressing itself in human form. This is your soul's way of being able to survive on this planet in the earthly realm through our 5 senses, such as our sight, being able to see and look around, our smell, being able to smell stuff, whether it's good or bad, being able to touch and feel, being able to taste, whether it's good stuff or bad stuff, but also being able to hear. Our body allows us to be able to experience the world physically, whereas our mind governs our mental and emotional aspects, which is why it's so important and imperative to find that balance between your mind, your body, and your emotions. Because once you have that balance, you'll be able to navigate life more freely and fluidly, just going with the flow and allowing whatever to happen, whether it's considered a good situation or a bad situation. You'll be you'll be able to just process everything and just go with the flow and realize that, you know what, maybe I can overcome this. So remember, guys, that you are not a body with a soul, but rather a soul with a body. And you are made up of more than just your physical body. You have a mental body, an emotional body, a spiritual body, and a physical body. Your physical body just allows you to experience Earth through your 5 senses. It allows you to experience Earth in the here and the now, to be able to just enjoy everything in life that we're going through, whether it is good situations or bad situations. Your body allows you to experience it physically, while your mind governs your mental and your emotional aspects, how you're dealing with all of this stuff that you're going through on a daily basis through your 5 senses. So like I said, it is very important and imperative to find that connection between your mind, your body, and your emotions. So most of you guys have probably heard the saying that emotions are what make us human. Now, I'm not exactly sure if that's true or not, so do not mark my word for it. Take what resonates with you and leave what doesn't. But I have heard that we are the only beings in the universe that have emotions and feelings, so I guess that would make us human, right? I don't know. Like I said, don't mark my word for it. But what I've learned on my own journey is that our emotions are the language of the soul, meaning that is how our soul is trying to talk/communicate to us, is through our emotions that we're experiencing, whereas our feelings are an expression of the soul. So the emotions that we are experiencing, these chemical reactions, which I'll get into within the video, but these emotions that we're experiencing, these chemical reactions that we're experiencing, these feelings, they are an expression of the soul. That is the soul expressing these emotions through your feelings, the way that your body is going through these different sensations and these different symptoms and whatever is going on. Because of your emotions, your feelings are what allows you to express the emotions that you're going through and that your soul is trying to communicate to you with. So whenever we are trying to explore the mind, body, and soul connection, or the mind, body, and emotions connection, or disconnection, what we are really trying to discover, guys, is whether or not if our mind and our body is connected or disconnected from our emotions and our feelings. So with that being said, guys, we already talked about how the body allows us to experience life through our five senses in the physical form. Our body is the soul's way of projecting itself mentally, and our feelings is our soul's way of perceiving itself. So like I said, your soul houses your mind, it houses your body, and it houses your emotions. But I also said that your mind governs your mental and emotional aspects. So that's why it's so important for us to have good mental health and emotional health, so that we can find that balance and know how to navigate through life, and so that our bodies are on the same wavelength as our head, as our brain. So again, our body is our soul's way of projecting itself mentally, and our feelings is our soul's way of perceiving whatever emotions and stuff we are going through, or that the soul is trying to talk to us and communicate and speak to us about. Feelings are ethereal, I'm not sure how to pronounce it, but that basically means that they are spiritual, intangible, and unworldly, meaning they cannot be seen, they can only be felt. And each emotion / feeling carries with it its own unique signature, frequency, and vibration. And what I've learned along my own journey is that emotions are just merely chemical reactions that are happening in the brain, which then releases these hormones to our heart so that it can be felt through these different sensations throughout our physical body. I've also learned that, emotions exist in the third dimension, and the third dimension that we live in is the earth dimension, the earthly realm, the physical realm, where you can touch, you can see, you can hear, you can smell. The earthly realm, the physical realm. So as you can see here, emotions literally is just energy in motion. Because if you guys did not know, everything in the universe is made up of energy. Whether it's this bed that I'm sitting on, this board, my phone, my thoughts, my emotions, everything is made up of energy. And I've talked to you guys about this before. We have all of these different energetic fields and these different frequencies within our body, and they need to be in alignment with one another in order for us to be able to flow through life with ease and satisfaction. So keep in mind, guys, that emotions are just energy in motion. Emotions, again, are just reactions of the energy in the third dimension. So emotions are just reactions, chemical reactions in your brain of different energies in the third dimension. So you know what? After I say that, it actually makes sense as to why most people say that emotions are what make us human, because of the fact that in the 3D dimension, which is the earthly realm, us humans, we have emotions, and emotions are just merely these chemical reactions that are going on within the brain that release the hormones in our body to be felt through these different sensations. And to be in energetic alignment with yourself, you have to balance out your mind, your body, and your emotions, your mental body, your physical body, your spiritual body, your emotional body, and your physical body. Because as I told you guys before at the beginning of this video, most people are unaware of how their emotions affect them on a daily basis in every part of their lives in all of these different aspects. Most people are unaware of how they truly affect them in their lives, and why their lives aren't going the way that they wanted to or that they had hoped to is because they do not have that emotional balance. They do not have that emotional intelligence. But once you learn to understand your mind, body, and your emotions, you are able to then connect the dots back to your soul, back to yourself, who you truly are, and you'll be able to make those necessary changes that need to be made for you and your life to get you to where you want to be at. But you have to understand what emotions are, what your body is, and what your mind does, and how it all interacts with one another. So again, emotions exist in the third dimension, which is the earthly realm that we live in. Emotions are just energy in motion. They're merely just chemical reactions of energy in the brain in the third dimension. And it carries with it its own unique frequency and vibration. So that's why it's so important to understand it, because these feelings and these emotions, they cannot be seen. They can only be felt through these different sensations and symptoms that are going on within the body, because the body allows us to experience life through our senses. And as I said, guys, everything in the universe is made up of energy. Whether you think so or not, whether you can see it or not, everything is made up of energy vibrating at a certain frequency. And energy is constantly moving. It doesn't stay, stagnant. It's always constantly moving. Energy has its own vibrational frequency, and everything has its own vibrational frequency, and it's able to form and transform. And emotions as well are also able to move, because emotions are always changing and they're impermanent. Emotions can coexist, they can change all the time. We're always going from levels of being very happy and high and excited to being very low and down in the dumps. So you can see how energy is always moving. So you have to be aware of what's going on within the energies in your body to give you those high vibrations or these lower vibrations, because everything is always constantly moving, and the only thing that is constant in life that we have is change, and our emotions are always changing on a daily basis, from moment to moment, from second to second. Our emotions are always changing. Everything is always moving around. It's just that you have to find that balance within yourself so that you can understand your emotions and you can understand the sensations and the feelings and everything that you are going through. Most people tend to lose control over their emotions, and whenever this happens, our emotions then start to control the behavior of us, the human, and not the human who is able to control their emotions. And whenever we do end up losing control, we do things and we say things that we don't necessarily mean, and that can actually be potentially harmful and upsetting to maybe not ourselves but to other people. You don't want to do that to other people. So we have to learn how to understand and cope with and balance out our emotions, because if not, then a lot of shit can break loose. All hell could break loose, honestly. So we must learn how to control our emotions so that we have enough personal power within ourselves to be able to change our fear-based agreements that we've been stuck in for so long, and to be able to escape from the hell that we have been in and to create our own personal heaven on earth. And I will talk to you guys about that in more upcoming video and discussions. But not only that, guys, because each emotion has its own unique frequency, signature, vibration, or whatever you would like to call it, again, it is very important to know the effects of the positive and negative emotions that can affect you mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, sexually, and financially. So positive emotions and positive feelings such as love, gratitude, appreciation, contentment, inspiration, etc., all of those are able to actually activate heart coherence. So heart coherence, ladies and gentlemen, is the state in which our heart, our mind, and our emotions are all in energetic alignment and cooperation with one another. This is the state that helps us to build resiliency so that we are able to accumulate more personal power and to not have our energy and power wasted on things that don't necessarily matter to us or that are not that important to us. It allows us to take the energy that we have to be able to manifest our intentions and have these harmonious outcomes, but also to create the life of our wildest dreams, where we're happy, we're successful, we're going after our goals, we're going after our dreams, we're just doing what we want to do because we stopped allowing other people's thoughts and opinions and the negativity of the outside world to stop us, and we found that balance between our mind, body, and emotions, and we took the time to really understand what our emotions are trying to tell us and how they are trying to communicate and speak with us through the feelings and stuff that we are feeling throughout our bodies. And one of the quickest and most simplest forms or pathways to learning this coherence is through intentional positive feeling. And because of the fact that we have all of these emotions, whether it's negative or positive, we already have the whole range and spectrum of them within us and inside of us, we can, whenever we want to, put ourselves in the position to feel these feelings such as love, gratitude, appreciation, contentment. But we can also feel, hate, anger, shame, regret, guilt, But those are low vibrational energies, and you don't want to feel that if you're trying to, connect back to who you are and go after the life that you've always wanted to live, where you're, satisfied and you're just going with the flow and you're doing what you need to do. So again, these negative feelings and emotions such as anger, hate, envy, shame, all of that, they create a state of incoherence. And this happens whenever we experience so much stress, and all of these negative thoughts and emotions, they cause the heart to enter a state of incoherence. And whenever this happens, our energy system within the body gets all mixed up and discombobulated, which then causes us to experience disease and illness within all parts of the body, whether it's mental, emotional, physical, spiritual, or sexual. But because our energetic field within us is all mixed up and we're experiencing these negative emotions, it's going to cause us to have all of these different symptoms and sensations throughout our body, such as all of these different diseases that we have and these illnesses, especially mental health issues and heart issues and stuff like that, because of the fact that we do not have the alignment within ourselves. We do not have that alignment between the mind, body, and emotions. So I would like you guys to keep in mind that wellness right here is the harmony and or balance of the mind, body, and emotions, whereas illness is the disharmony / imbalance of the mind, body, and emotions. So now you can see why it's so imperative to be able to have that connection between the mind, body, and emotions, so that you don't have to experience all of this sickness and all of these different diseases, so that you can keep yourself happy and healthy. Through our emotions, we are then able to determine our likes and dislikes, our wants and desires, and to be able to go after whatever it is in life that we want to go after, because we stopped listening to other people's thoughts and opinions about us and our life, and we followed our heart and our intuition. We found that courage and that strength to go after our life, to make those changes, to do whatever it is in life that we wanted to do and not what other people wanted us to do, because this is our life, this is our journey here on earth. Our emotions ask nothing of us, guys, except to be able to acknowledge and validate them, including the whole spectrum of emotions from negative to positive. And as I mentioned earlier on in this discussion, within the human body, we already are able to experience the whole range of emotions from negative to positive, like hate, anger, shame, envy, guilt. Those are lower emotions and low vibrational energies and feelings. Whereas positive emotions and positive feelings such as love, gratitude, appreciation, contentment, inspiration, those are all positive emotions and feelings that can actually activate that heart coherence within you. Which again is when your mind, your heart, and your emotions are in energetic alignment, in balance with one another, and you are satisfied with yourself, you're satisfied with your life, and you're just doing whatever it is in life that you want to do. But our emotions, again, is the language that our soul chooses to express itself here on earth, or is how our soul chooses to express itself here on earth. We have to realize that our soul is trying to communicate to us through the chemical reactions in our brain, which is just energy and motion moving at different frequencies, different wavelengths, different speeds. We have to find that balance between the mind and the body and connect it back to one another, because for the longest time, the elite group has tried to make us feel like our mind and our body are separate, but they are not. They are not separate entities. They are one thing, and you have to find that alignment, that balance, so that you are able to live your life how you want to live it and become your most true and authentic self that you can be. So emotional intelligence is our ability to be able to understand and manage our own emotions and feelings whenever we are experiencing them, and to not allow ourselves to lose control over our emotions, so that our emotions start to then control our behavior, and then we start to do things and say things that we don't necessarily mean, and we might potentially hurt somebody or upset somebody or unintentionally do that. An emotional balance is our ability, or the ability of the mind and body, to maintain that stability and flexibility in times of crisis in our life. Whenever we are dealing with these tragedies, these pains, these losses, and knowing that even if they might be negative situations, there might be a positive outcome that comes after it. It's just all about your perspective, and if you are able to deal with your emotions instead of hiding them and repressing them, about bringing them to the light and feeling them, because you need to feel in order to heal. And that saying is so true. You have to feel in order to heal. Your emotions are there to help you navigate through life and through these different experiences, through these different, trials and tribulations, the setbacks and the obstacles, but also the achievements and the rewards in life that you're going to get. Your emotions allow you to experience that at different frequencies, different vibrations. And if you are in a higher vibration, then you are more in alignment with your true self, with who you are, connecting you back to your soul, your spirit, as a multidimensional spiritual being experiencing a human existence. Emotional balance will then promote physical health, guys. It'll allow you to become healthy in all areas, mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, sexually, and financially. But most people who are not in good shape is because their mind is not right. In your mind, your body cannot get right if your mind is not right. It has to be in that alignment with one another. So again, emotional balance will help promote physical health and is a precondition for our personal well-being and growth as human beings anyway. You just have to figure out how to find that balance, because we've been told for so long to repress it and hide it, and that our emotions make us weak, but they don't. Our emotions, or at least having that emotional balance and that emotional intelligence, that'll make us stronger human beings, and we'll be able to navigate these crises and things that happen in our lives much more smoothly and effortlessly. So with all of that being said, beautiful souls, I think this is going to be the end of the discussion, but I really hope that throughout this whole thing you were able to gain some wisdom and some knowledge, and maybe then apply it to your own life so that you can find that mind, body, and soul connection back to who you truly are as a multidimensional spiritual being experiencing a human existence. Hopefully it allows you to start living your life how you want to live it, in alignment with yourself, in alignment with all areas of who you are, so that you can create the life that you've always dreamt of. Make sure that you follow me on all of my social media, and I will be back with more discussions. Peace!